that lonesome road before you travel on. Look down that lonesome road before you travel Thank you. One, two, three, four. How are you? We're going to have a party tonight. We're going to have a party here with our lovely people in Savannah. We're going to have a party, a virtual party out there. 80,000 people. Hi, everybody. This is a song, the last song was from my last album, my 14th album. This is from my first one with Phil Woods. We need this song. It's called Make Me Rainbows, written by John Williams. Make me rainbows, make me spring in the snow, make me beautiful music wherever I go, make me unwindly behind rhyme and reason, make me a room where I'll bloom out of season, make me sunsets, paint our names in the sky. Let your arms be my wings, and together we'll fly. Don't let me fall till I'm all I can be. Make me rainbows, star-spangled rainbows. Please make those rainbows for me. We'll fly. Sky, let your arms be my wings, and together we'll fly. Don't let me fall till I'm all I can be. Make me rainbows, star-spangled rainbows. Please make those rainbows for me. Make me rainbows, make me
Yay! Woohoo!
Oh my goodness, what a band.
Great. Hey, are you listening? Are you watching this on some other like
No,
oh, okay, because mine, let's see, it must be me. Hold on. Yes, it is me.
Oh my goodness, what a band.
Okay, you never know where everything's coming, you know. Let's see. Great. Wow, that's now I hear myself.
Are you watching? Well, that's still the audio from the show, from the video.
Yeah, you're not watching this anywhere. Like you don't have Facebook up, right? Yes, it is me.
Turn me off YouTube.
Okay, you never know where everything's coming, you know. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Sorry. Okay, there we are. You know, Facebook changed last night. so, so now I'm like, technology is very interesting. Anyway, my guest is the lovely personage and jazz vocalist Stephanie Nakasian on the other side of the country. Hi. And Steph and I have known each other for a very long time. She came here, well, it was when I think Veronica might have been 12 or something, or 10 or 12.
Wow. Okay.
So
Maybe.
that was, that was a while ago, right?
She's 26 now, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So that was, but then we saw each other at APAP in New York. Which is a performing arts convention. And we saw each other, and Steph and her partner were there, right?
Yeah.
Performing.
It was good. It was a fun time. I don't know if anything came out of it because right after that happened. So, right.
I know what you mean.
For a moment.
I know what you mean. Well, I did it the year before and nothing really came out of it, but I felt like, I just felt like making a statement, you know, I'm here, you know, and it was pretty cool. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Well, Steph and I were talking about, this is going to be a really fun show and unique because Steph is going to show us some pictures and, you know, we're going to talk about stories from there. But I'd like to actually talk about with you first, your history and like, because I don't know if we ever talked about that. We might have, but I don't remember because it might have been a long time ago. So growing up, and were you singing when you were growing up, and when did you love jazz, all that kind of stuff?
I know everyone doesn't want to hear this whole story, but I'll make it very short. I wasn't brought up with jazz. I had a lot of classical music, classical piano 4, classical at 8, I was at Juilliard. At 12, I was studying. I was conservatory, all this stuff I did as a child in Bronxville, New York, in Westchester County. But I was always supposed to be, you know, doctor, lawyer, business person. So I went to Northwestern and got an economics degree and a master's in business, MBA in finance, and a career in banking in Chicago, and then transferred to New York in currencies and future trading and all kinds of exciting, you know, sexy stuff, and which is wonderful because I wasn't in the token era, you know, where they take any woman and say, okay, we need a woman in business. You're going to be it. This was the first generation where they really wanted to cultivate very smart women and say, please come to business school. And please come to our programs. And so I was right in that wave, and it was fabulous because it was so sexy. I mean, I thought wearing a 3-piece suit with a vest briefcase was like the sexiest thing in the world. And I loved going to Citibank in New York in the summers and carrying my briefcase, going on the train. You know, I thought that was like the best, you know, and intellectually it was fun. It was very challenging, and it was very sexy to be a young woman who was taken seriously because and I had ideas. Yeah. So the guy was like, haha, for a while. Then they go, good idea.
Yeah.
So I did that. And then just a couple years into it, when I got transferred to New York, I really wasn't happy doing it. I mean, I was good at it. I was smart. I was making a lot of money. I made more money when I was 26 than I make now. I shouldn't admit that, but I did. And I fell in love with Hod. I did something in the middle with Sufism and meditation, and I went to Europe and Morocco. I took that year off that I should have taken after high school, which I didn't take until I was already working. And I met Hod O'Brien, and I was living on the East Side. He was playing at Gregory's, and I heard this life force, coming out of him, and he looked great. He looked younger than he was. He played with such life force. And my friends that were traders and Wall Street people, they were like burning out at 25. They had ulcers, they had all on cocaine. And they're all like, let's go to a party all night. I was like, no, I'm going to go to sleep. I can work the next day. But no, it wasn't for me, that life. I loved it for a little part of me. It was fun to be rich and cool and have a lot of stats. But I followed my heart and decided to try jazz for 5 years. And I said, if nothing happens, I'll go back. I'm young enough. And
okay, now wait a minute, right there. So had you been singing?
Not really. I mean, singing, everybody sings. So singing is not something I thought, oh, some people sing and some people don't. I mean, I sang the piano, and girlfriends would come over and sit around the piano and play music.
That kind of singing.
Choirs and but I
so when you saw Hod, was that your first introduction to jazz?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, really.
Oh,
I mean, I certainly knew songs, Rodgers and Hammerstein and Rodgers and Hart, and some of the songs that Streisand had recorded, which were standards, but I'd never heard bebop.
Oh, wow.
So it was, this is the music I love, but with this fresh improvisational, spontaneous thing. And it was just like, wow, this is great. You mean I don't have to follow a manual and do the same thing and, write memos and have all this structure? Because I thought being a businesswoman was revolutionary, and it turns out it wasn't so revolutionary. It was actually going to put me back in another box. Yeah. So then I wanted to be a jazz singer, and I think if we're not careful, jazz singing can become a box too. But, I always wanted to do something different, try something else. So,
well, those two things are pretty different from each other. And I can really relate, though, to the business thing. I mean, I was attracted to that myself at some point. And there's something, it's really beautiful. You put order in and you're in control of things. And the suit thing, I can relate to that too.
And it's, I can't tell you the number that so many jazz musicians who say, oh, I wish I had gone into insurance or something, I could be rich. And I always wish that they could just experience a year of that life sitting in a room and to see if that's rewarding. And it is rewarding to a lot of people. That's fine for me.
Yeah.
It typically is not. It's typically very a little too restrictive.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I would have ideas in business and I say, hey, why don't we do this? And I just go to the executive vice president, two layers above me. And they say, oh, you can't do that. You have to write a memo to your boss who writes a memo to me.
Yeah.
But I did my heart, and Hod and I were together a long time, so we had a wonderful life.
Yeah. So in those first years, were you still working in business, or did you just totally?
So I lived on 54th and 2nd, and he was playing at Gregory's at 63rd and 1st, which was one of the few jazz clubs on the East Side. So it was very close to my apartment, but I had to be up at 7 or 6:30 even to get down to Wall Street. And, they played till 3. Joe Puma and Frank Luther and Hod would play 5 nights a week, 5 hours a night, forever. For 5 years he did that. So trying to play till 3 and then getting up at 7 and going to work is not very sustainable, even at 25 or whatever I was. So no, I had to make a decision about it. And the more I was working with Hod, the more I started getting gigs, and we got a festival, and next thing you know, people are interested in us. And I said, I'll just try this. So I threw myself a coming out party, like, hi, I'm Stephanie and I'm a jazz singer. See what happened with that. But
Okay, now, do you have pictures of that period?
now, somewhere in my files, I have all kinds of pictures.
Okay, okay. So,
Maybe think about it, but
sorry, what did you say?
I appreciate your asking me to do this interview because it made me think about my past, and I don't think about it too much. I kind of, when Hod died in 2016, I kind of like, you know, locked it up for a while. So I have pictures everywhere, but I didn't. Yeah, I'll put it together sometime, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, well, he wrote a book with some of it in there. Maybe it's in his book. I don't know. He wrote. Let me see. What did he write? He wrote a chapter when he was dying of cancer. He was actually, his brain was fantastic. So I said, you know so much. Why don't you write a book? And he said, write a book. You know, here's one of the two of us. You know, when we
Oh,
first, you
wow.
know, just did gigs all over the place. And
Adorable.
just, oh, yeah, with Chet and da 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 da. I don't know if you would even see this one, but somebody did a cartoon of us. Can you see the fat lady in the bathtub and the guy at the piano?
Oh. Oh,
Oh, that was
wow.
in Hod, performing in Holland. So we did a lot all over Europe, but that was after I was with Jon Hendricks. So that was, I skipped ahead a little bit,
Yeah.
but it was
So
really,
the first years you were in your late 20s, basically, and what were you doing during that time? You were living in New York. You guys were both living in New York, and um, it was probably let's see. Well, it was probably a while before you had Veronica, and right?
14 years together before Veronica. So we
Or
had a lot of time to tour and record. Hod hadn't recorded a lot since his early recordings with Art Farmer, and so I just started getting him, you know, making him out there, putting him out there with, you know, Reservoir and recording. And he did a lot of recordings. I was on one of them with Pepper Adams, and you know, we really had fun that we did all by ourselves, kind of. We toured, we did cruise ships, and we did Europe, and we did whatever we could, mostly by friends, you know, no agents and things like that. Mostly
yeah,
people who'd heard that connected us, and
yeah.
lots and lots. And the Cool Jazz Festival, which was, you know, the early jazz festival.
Yeah.
So that's what we did in the beginning, you know, and I worked with Hendricks. I met Hod in 80, and I worked with Jon Hendricks for 2 years in 82 and 83, or 83 and 84.
I want to come back to that, sometimes some people listening might not really know who Hod is. So could you just give a quick, you know, paragraph or something on Hod? Hod O'Brien was her husband, great pianist, great person.
Let's put it this way. He was called Son of Bud because he was such an authentic bebop player. So he's revered amongst piano players and bebop lovers. They know that he's a pure bebopper. He and Barry Harris are very close and recorded together. And he was just a very quiet guy. He didn't have management and agents. He had lots of recordings. He made 70 recordings, but his first one was at
Wow.
19 with it's called Three Trumpets with Art Farmer, Donald Byrd, and Idris Suleiman, which is still in reprint. It's a very famous record.
Wow.
And with Oscar Pettiford's last group before Oscar went to Europe. So he was pretty much hot on the scene, you know, in New York, and in that late 50s, early 60s period before the Beatles, you know, before that happened. You know,
Yeah.
once that happened, everybody scurried everywhere else. People went into rock and went to Europe. He stayed in the States and got into some work with Jerry Montrose and Roswell Rudd and Sheila. He recorded with Sheila. Anyway, but that's
Okay.
he still thought of as one of the great bebop purists. And I get lots of requests for his recordings and his people transcribe his solos, and you know, it's really impressive to see how his legacy lives on.
That's very nice. Yeah. Okay. So then, so a few years later, how did that gig come up with Jon Hendricks?
Again, you know, I went to a party in New York, and David Lenhart was there, and he didn't know me, and he heard me scatter sing or something, and he said, "Oh yeah, you should come to this, you know, this audition with Jon Hendricks." I'm like, "Okay, do I know who Jon Hendricks?" I mean, I knew nothing. The very first date he took me on, I shouldn't admit this, it's so uncool, but the first date I went to was Bill Evans' funeral. And I didn't know Bill, I was so new to this. This was like, I hate to say it, just not in my parental upbringing, was not. So I learned all about it, and Tommy Flanagan would come up and say hi to Hod, and I had to, I didn't say, oh, what do you play? No, I just, because I would embarrass myself, but I had to learn. And so I went to this audition for this. When Michelle, John's daughter, left the group, they auditioned like everyone in New York for this part. And I got to tell you, I didn't know the stuff. I really didn't. I didn't know it. I hadn't done my homework. I knew who Count Basie and Duke Ellington were, but I didn't really know Lambert, Hendricks, or Ross. And the people who had come to this audition knew every solo, every vocalist, But he heard me sing and he said, your time. How do you?
Go ahead. I'm just taking it so I can quiet it. Go ahead.
So I said, I live with Hod O'Brien. And he goes, oh, well, that explains it. Because John loved Hod's playing. So, there was Hod's playing he mentored me the way Jon Hendricks did and filled in that. Obviously, I had a feeling for jazz. I had a feeling for music, but, and I caught on very quickly. But, John and Hod really mentored me to make sure I was staying in my hip zone and not coming from some, Barbra Streisand cabaret other thing, that considered.
It's interesting that John picked you with all those people coming and knowing all the licks and everything. It's cool.
So I was also born on my birthday. So Judith said, tell me your name and your phone number and your birthday. And I'm like, okay, August 29th. Oh, Bert's birthday. I was like, So John and I were Virgos, and Bob Gerland and Robert Gerland and John were Aries. Judith and Bob were Aries, I think. So she was, two Aries. Perfect.
And how long did you sing?
Just 2 years.
2 years.
I really, he didn't have management then, and we weren't doing so much. We were doing wonderful concerts when we did them, but I was really starting to work with Hod, and I wanted to stay with him more. So I just, I could do anything.
And so, I'm sorry, say that. Yeah, I'm sorry. There sometimes the Zoom thing is cutting you out, actually. So, but there's nothing really to do about that. But anyway, what did you say?
I'm always talking. I think that the vocal jazz group thing was amazing, and it was incredibly helpful to me to learn how to sing like a member of a band, like a horn in Count Basie and Ellington band. Fantastic. And to learn the solos, the Monk solos, and Wardell Gray solos and all that, and to learn them from an instrumental place, because John would never say, don't listen to the vocalese, listen to the original, listen to the original saxophone solos. That was incredible knowledge for me. But I wanted to do it on my own. I wanted to see what happens if I'm on the stage by myself with Hod in a trio. So I wanted to, try my wings.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah. We have a few people who are saying hi, who I assume know you, like Grazia di Grace.
He's in Italy.
Oh, ciao. And Marla Clemon.
Oh, Marla.
And Claire Martin, she says, sorry about the Beatles. Thanks, Claire.
Beatles stuff. All of a sudden in this post-Hod, time of my life, I'm starting to sing stuff in the 60s and 70s. I'm saying it's okay to do it. But in the 80s and 90s, if you were a jazz singer and you did that, it would not be.
And Annie Mueller, she said, you probably don't remember me at all, but I took vocal jazz lessons with you at William and Mary in 2001 to 2. Still very grateful for what I learned from you then, as well as the opportunity to perform with Hod in the student lounge.
Thank you. Glad to hear you. How nice.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Joyce. I know her voice is cutting in and out, but there is a possibility. You're on your computer, right? up in the left corner, if it might say turn off or on original sound. And so you want it on. So
Okay, let's see. Okay, now
oh, that sounds actually better. Yeah,
sorry about that.
no
I
problem.
usually so it's okay, different.
Well,
Cool.
there's different settings too that we can, but yeah. Anyway, I'm just writing Hod's name, Hod O'Brien. That was his name. So, yeah.
Want a picture?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Let's see what I got here. I'm gonna see if I can do this here. I am going to put a picture of. Uh-oh, that's not it. This one. I can't do it. Okay. Okay. So there's baby Stephanie. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah, you look exactly the same.
Who's this? Wait a minute.
Oh, Veronica, look at her. She's so cute.
Demon smiles. I tell you, you have children. That's enough of that. I just, how do we do shop then? You know,
Looks like Hod is right below. You were going to show us Hod.
well, I have lots. I don't know.
Yeah, show us a few pictures. Why not?
What this is, I forgot what I put. Did I put share screen? Just a minute. Share screen. How do I do these things?
There you
Oh my
go.
gosh. Okay, let's see. Let's see what this one is. I have to do this. There we are.
Oh, that's
It's
that picture. Yeah,
until I did it in the frame.
very cute.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Very cute.
this was the cartoon. You know, there we are practicing in Holland. We had this fan who just passed, and he used to record us doing everything. If we were rehearsing in the bathroom, if we were rehearsing anywhere, he'd be recording it.
That's a great cartoon.
Anyway, I don't think I didn't put a lot, but some people made pictures of us, and that was just
Oh, lovely.
anyway, whatever. I didn't gather them all because I can't handle that. But all right. Hi.
So we're going to see some pictures, and then we're going to talk, and then yeah, and yeah, and actually, we could take a moment to go and listen to you. If I share my screen and I go, I'll show you like YouTube, and then you can tell me,
Can I do
huh?
a live one? I don't know what's on YouTube. It scares me to death.
Well, you can see. There's one of you and Veronica singing "How High the Moon." There's
Okay, that one that you showed before was done by television, and they film me from below. It's a horrible filming, but anyway, it's whatever. Let's see, Veronica and me with "How High the Moon." What year is that?
that is
As they say,
Oh, I know.
timing is everything.
Oh, yeah.
We're having the climax of the concert in the middle of the show because Bruno, we're climax of the on How High the Moon.
oh,
Somewhere that music is a favorite tune. Somewhere there's heaven, how high the moon. There is no moon above when love is far away too.
am. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was asking Veronica who that was. She said John Weber on piano.
Sorry. That was amazing. I'm sorry. I had turned, yeah.
Veronica said, Cathy. Veronica said that's John Weber on the piano. I knew Aaron
Oh,
Weinstein. I don't know the bass player or the singer. But it was a thing for Will Friedwald. We did, yeah. Anyway, an Ella tribute.
that was
A wild thing.
that was really amazing. It just made me think because I grew up singing with my twin sisters, right? But we weren't singing like that together. We were singing in a whole different way together. That must have been so much fun, just coming up, raising your daughter like that, and for your daughter to sing with her mom like that. I mean, just it's really amazing. I don't know of a lot of people who did that. Do you?
I don't, everyone thinks that I pushed her into singing, or we did drag her to the gigs. We didn't have babysitters, so she came to a lot of the gigs with us. But the
Yeah.
last thing I wanted to do is pursue a career of music. You don't want them. Want them to become bankers. Yes, that was it.
Right.
Started right from the beginning, and we have so much fun as a family playing together.
Yeah.
I have pictures. I have some of the pictures of her when we took her to Dizzy's for a women jazz festival we did. That was her first time there, and she just blew everybody away. So I said, okay, maybe you should to think about this. And then she gets a scholarship to college. I mean, wouldn't you think that? Oh, I'm going to have a daughter. I think maybe he'll get a full scholarship to sing jazz music.
Yeah, right. Oh gosh.
I'm like,
Uh,
I'm so proud of her, and she's on the cover of Downbeat in November. It was like so wild to I love to just hang around her,
yeah.
Chris got to sit in with Chris Bodie, and I got to go to Italy, and I was like, fun.
It's amazing. What a cool existence.
Yeah. I have no complaints. It's all about love, You follow love, it takes you down the right path, And everywhere we go to visit friends like you, and we come to visit and stay with you, and then you have these beautiful workshops with other singers. That's a love sharing. Everything that's like that. That's worth living for. The other stuff, the fame and fortune and review. I don't even know what reviews I've gotten. Quite honestly, I don't even pay attention. But I do love to go and see people and feel people. That's where this virtual thing is so frustrating.
Yeah.
And just share music and share life, and experiences, because it means so much to everybody. So
Yeah.
that's what I
Yeah. Yeah. I'm totally with you. So that leads me into talking about your teaching, because your teaching is, I think, based in that. Don't you think so?
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't go to music school, so what did I know about anything? I mean, when I got to New York and started singing, I hadn't had a voice lesson. So I was like, oh, this hurts a little bit. I don't think I'm doing it right. So I immediately found an amazing teacher, Joe Scott, who
Uh,
trained everybody from opera singers to the coaches to, people that were doing soap operas, people that were using their voice a lot just to free it up. And
yeah.
it wasn't classical at all. It was just about relaxing, opening up, letting go, which in jazz is the big deal.
Yeah.
So that was a fantastic thing. And that's what I used to start I didn't really think I would want to teach, but I love to talk, and I like to be important, and I like people to listen to me.
Yeah.
So I think a teacher's good like that. It was just about relaxing, opening up, letting go, which in jazz is the big deal. So that was a fantastic. So when we moved to Virginia, letting go,
Sorry. Hold
which
on
in
one
jazz
second.
is the big deal.
I'm sorry.
That was a fantastic.
Hold on one
That's what I
second.
used to start I didn't really think I would want to teach.
Again, this is the new Facebook is a little problematic. Okay, please continue with what you were
Well, I
saying.
just explained it. I didn't really think of teaching until we moved to Virginia and
Yeah.
Veronica was born. We were in the Poconos before that and touring a lot. And then we moved down to Virginia. I
I didn't want to tour a lot, but we did still tour a lot with her. When she was a baby, you could do it. Once she was in school, it was harder. And so I started to teach. I didn't know what I could offer. This is what I learned. This is how I sing without hurting myself. This
Yeah.
is how I stay free. And I had a wonderful teacher. It didn't get me too caught up in technical stuff. So and then I built on it. And after 25 years, I wrote books and have done workshops all over the country and the world. And, I try to keep it based in the student, freeing the student to express themselves. That's the bottom line. So if technique is in the way, it's not good technique. But if you're free of technique and you're just going right from here out, that's great. Gets caught in here, it's problems. So all the issues of intonation and range and power and breath, it's all cured by opening up, by relaxing, mostly in here, but. And so there's certain tricks, and I found out that every student had the same issues, so I wrote them down in a book. They're predictable places where we tend to grab, and I have some pictures of that too if you want.
Yeah.
But it turns out everyone had the same issues, so I wrote them down. I said, why don't I just put all this in a book with the same exercises, since everyone's going through the same thing? So it's been fun. And of course, when I'm teaching 8 hours a day, I'm singing 8 hours a day, so I'm really warmed up. So I can sing, low parts, and it was good. It was good exercise.
Yeah, yeah. And you wrote 3 books about that?
Yeah, the first one was more about jazz rhythm because I would go and do workshops for choral directors in high schools and middle schools, and they'd be reading the notes.
Yeah.
High school. Never know how much I love you now. You give me fever. And I was like, how do we get this to swing? So, I wrote it's not on the page. And I just show how quarter notes aren't quarter note, eighth notes aren't eighth notes. There are hidden spaces, and then showed some examples of how to think of a song using this pulsing, rather than reading it as like I have all these pictures somewhere. But anyway, to not read it literally.
Yeah.
In Charleston, ba 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 da ba ba. If you read that, it's a dotted quarter and an eighth. But if you really read it, you'd go ba 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 ba. That doesn't sound. So you need this pulsing. You need this little bit of, it's like a jellyfish. Like it pulses. Da da ba ba. It's almost a little space. So that's the kind of thing I work with to help singers, especially ones who've been trained a lot with a lot of tonal production, to get off of it a little bit and just let the music bounce and swing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll talk about
You said you had some pictures from the book. I'd be interested in seeing that. I think everybody would.
Let's see. I got all kinds of fancy technological things here. Let's see what I got here. That's the wrong one. Let's see what this one is. I'm just having fun figuring it out. I don't want that thing. I might have to. I did. Wait. We are screen sharing. Okay. So let's see.
Boy, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Your desktop is so empty.
Wait a minute. Let me start this again. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can get this all by myself before I call in my helper here. I'm having trouble opening
Yeah,
this, right?
go ahead.
Am I not double clicking it?
You are. That's not. No, you're sending it somewhere else. Okay.
Oh, I know it's down here. No?
What are you looking for?
I'm just trying to open something. Share. Oh, I have to push share first. Oh, that's
Yeah,
it.
share screen.
Okay, now I got it.
Okay.
Oh, brother.
Just being a
See
pain,
that?
but no, that's you're not looking for that.
Oh.
That's not what you're looking
Hang in,
for.
Kathy, one more minute, and then I'm going to give up because they're all there. But
What are we looking for?
see how it's. Okay, got it.
This one?
Yeah. Okay, that's not it. Okay, we'll go forward from there.
Okay, let's go here.
Yeah. Okay, so I talked to them about forward motion, right? Not Carla down. Oh, so for example, this is one of my best things. Predictable dumping and spilling places, right? So singers feel I'm out of breath, or it's not coming out, or I'm not powerful enough, or I can't reach it, all these things. And it turns out that we do similar things that a horn player does. We tend to inhale and pounce. I got rhythm, I got rhythm, instead of thinking of going through the phrase. So the first note of the phrase tends to be heavy, and it shouldn't be. The heavy beats, the first beat and the third beat, tend to be heavy. We may never, never meet, in order to get that, we may never, never meet again on the bumpy road to love. So you have to keep it moving. Some consonants tend to close things up if they're too clingy. I'm, I don't know. I'll see you in my dreams. You have to open the vowels. Rhythmic places, high and low. We grab for them or push them down. It spills the tone, and tones are everything. So there's lots of places where we tend to make a long note. We hold it, My sweet embraceable you. That doesn't go anywhere. Embraceable you. You have to go through them. So that was one of them. That's the kind of thing. And then we have exercises to think through the note, rather than to it and pouncing on it, to center on the vowels and go through them. So that's the kind of thing we do in the lessons, to really see forward in the phrase so you can tell the story, because that's what it's all about. So we talk about these things, instead of plop, plop, thinking like skipping a stone across the water. So those are just pictures, and then we apply it to whatever songs so that they don't sing, we may never, never, the pulsing quarter notes, never, never meet again on the bumpy road to love. And we're really articulating rhythm without pouncing on it, is that kind of interesting to people? I don't know.
That's nice.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't look like that. Not never, never meet again on the bumpy road to love. That's not the way we sing jazz. So it's very different from what's on the page. So that's what started the first book. And then when I gave so many voice lessons, then I wrote the second book, which is You Already Know How to Sing. Because it turns out
I might have had that one for a while until I sold it or something.
I got lots more of them. But it turns out that really everybody can sing. And good singing has to do with good ears more than anything else. Being able to hear lessons, and then being able to to do it, which is technical, and that usually is about letting go. And of course, the women have to learn how to get through the break, and the men have to not go into falsetto all the time. And some of these traps you avoid them, but once you do that, you have lots of tone and lots of everything. So, but letting go is a little complicated. It's not just letting go; it's emotional too. So.
Yeah. I think the voice is like one of the most interesting instruments there is. We have there's so many different levels and so many things to kind of notice, and hold. I kind of liken it to a glass of water. We have to make the glass, right, and the glass has to be consistent, and then the water is fluid. It moves through. So, but that's kind of on the technique side. But I really like what you're saying about the the flowing, the moving. It's not static, it's not up and down. It's horizontal, Yeah.
We're breathing all the time. So it's not like we have to suck in air and push it out with a note. We really ride on our air, like a bird might, just ride on the air.
Yeah.
So feel that and get in touch. A lot of singing, as you know very well, because you're a great singer, get in touch with your body and what your body's really doing. So meditation and breathing exercises, swimming was good for me. Anything where you're really concentrating on your breath is going to realize, hey, I've got breath. So what's the problem?
Yeah.
This,
Yeah.
Go.
Kind of a reflection on life too, isn't it?
That brings me to my third book, and this is the last one, I promise. But then comes COVID, right?
Yeah.
And what are we supposed to do now? Well, my whole career has been about, when I couldn't find a gig, create a gig.
Yes.
Create. Okay, you do with you're bringing your showcasing into the clubs. There are so many ways to create work
Yes.
This waiting around for the phone to ring. No. Does not work. COVID came, and we actually drove up through Savannah, Georgia, which is where we're going back to because there's still gigs there, open air. I had all this time, and I figured I would take all these little pieces of paper with stories my students had gone through in their transformation to be a singer, to allow themselves to be a singer. You know what I mean? To allow yourself to sing, which is a big transformation. It's most of my students come in, they say, "Oh, I'm a horrible singer. I'm so bad. My parents don't even let me sing Happy Birthday," or something like that.
Yeah.
So stories down because they were really meaningful, and I wrote a book called Breathing Room, and I was really happy I did it because people are really wounded by things that happen. Here's a picture. I have these in somewhere else, but this is a picture of a choir director, pointing out to somebody, "Hey, Jimmy, you're singing out of tune," and of course everybody's laughing at him and whatever. So if that happens to you, God forbid, in middle school, you're going to be wounded. You're not going to think you can sing. So these kinds of things happen a lot. And so I just help the students to go through that. And, how about you have students that you make them look in the mirror when they sing?
Yeah, sometimes.
It's awfully hard to do. So this is what happens when I have college students look in the mirror. That's what they see. Horrible hair and fat and everything, and I say, no, you're beautiful. And by the time they start to, we don't do the mirror too much because it's always.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's all a part of just accepting yourself and allowing yourself to express yourself. And that sounds little, but it's not little. It's really big.
No, it's huge. It's huge. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely huge.
And think, when they start singing, things happen in their lives.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, I had a woman, a young girl, who convinced to finally, she was getting very, very thin, very sickly. And I said, "Are you all right?" She goes, I'm all right. And weeks later, she told me she was bulimic. And I was the person she told first. I'm like, I was like, "Oh, I'm so, you're amazing that you could do that. I just salute you. I applaud you for being able to just own that, And after she did that, I was the only person she had told, her voice teacher. She went, I gave her some names of some people at the university that were really great at counseling on this, and she just went after it, and she got it together. She saw the problem she had to work on, she worked on it, and she won it,
Wow.
So that happened. I really think it happened because I gave her permission to be in control of her body,
Yeah. One time I was teaching this girl, and I was teaching her, I was focusing on her throat and her her vocal cords, and excuse me, and I found myself explaining how they looked as compared to a woman's private parts. And then I said, as soon as I did that, I said, I don't know why I went there with that, because I don't usually talk about it. Sometimes people will mention it, but I don't usually go there. It turned out that she had been sexually abused. So I was actually picking up whatever she was carrying around, and it wasn't obviously like she wasn't wearing it like a picture, but I was picking it up, and we had an openness between us, so there could be this communication going, and you can imagine what that did for her. It was, it was safe to reveal it, and yeah. So I'm sorry. Sorry.
You're a very intuitive person. To have a teacher like that is golden because, as I say, it's about the student trying to connect with themselves. So you want a teacher that can flash it back in a gentle way, not say, "You're singing sharp, you're singing flat," So I can be the smart teacher, It really takes a lot of listening and caring. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a great teacher now myself, and he's like that. And he gets me. He gets that I'm a teacher. He gets I'm a jazz singer. He gets I'm spiritual. And he's just, when you have a good teacher and you know it, you know that there's a connection and you're getting deeper things. It's worth its weight in gold. It really is. So I'm sorry, what was the name of that book? You kind of moved it fast.
Breathing Room.
Stories.
It's personal transformations from voice lessons.
So you basically, that is stories of of some various students of yours. Is that correct?
50 different stories, I changed the names,
Yeah.
but students from 8th grade till 80. I have students all over the map, and
That's cool.
yeah, I think it was good for me to write it. I mean, each one was inspiring to me. It's when someone trusts you with that, and as a result of it, their lives change. That's big. That's the big work to me. So I hope I'm up for the challenge. But it's usually my students will call me. They're very smart. At UVA and William and Mary, if I'm doing something and it doesn't resonate with them, they'll say, Professor, that really isn't. I'm not really getting it that way. Can we try another approach? Which I think is great because then I'm just
absolutely. I mean, that's what you want. You want somebody to have an open communication. The Grazia actually said she has your books and it changed her voice and her teaching.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's wonderful singing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Great.
I think it's just about letting go, but there's so much to learn in jazz. Technically, these riffs and these solos and the harmonies, and there's a lot of things to put into our brain. But then we have to get out of that and just say, well, what does this song mean to me, and kind of get out of that space and just sing. And that's the more, I think it's more challenging than the learning part.
I think so too. I really do. I agree with you. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly why for years I had visiting artists come and do workshops, because I found it fascinating myself. Not only did the students, but I found it incredibly wonderful to watch other professional singers and teachers talk about. We basically agreed on the overall importance, and then we each described it and helped toward it in a different way, because we're all individuals and we all went through different things coming through. So this is exactly why I continued doing it. I thought it was so valuable and wonderful and fascinating. So, so I love your ideas. I want to come to a class. Can I come to your class?
I did some for Alexis's jazzvoice.org. She has.
Oh, yeah.
Do a master class for her in January, but it's I've been teaching virtually and teaching all kinds of things, so I'm happy to share it with anybody. Anything I know, you can have.
Are you going to do another one for jazzvoice.com?
I'm going to do a master class in January. So I did a workshop for them already on forward motion, which is just this idea, because we get stuck in, here I am, here's my song, here's my tone, and we lose that concept of the phrase and where it's going, and tell the story, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then the end. We lose a little. So that's really important to me. But one thing you said, when I taught first in Europe, in Holland, I taught, I think there were about 15 students, and they couldn't have looked different. I mean, they couldn't look more different. They were tall and short and black and white, and someone in goth and someone in a prissy little outfit, and every single possible personality was in the room, right? And they started to sing, and they all sounded like Ella Fitzgerald. And I was like, this is great, but none of you. I'm not Elvis Joe. So trying to discover, we emulate. I do a lot of tribute albums. I did June Christie and Billie Holiday and trying to find yourself, listen and learn the masters, but then finding yourself, finding your own voice. That's really important. And it's hard in a school. It's hard with methodology. It's really got to be your own work, with yourself, And your story should be different. These standards are so amazing. Everybody sings "It Never Entered My Mind" differently. It's such a brilliant song, but The flavors could be bitter, painful. It could be all kinds of flavors, you know.
Yeah.
So
So I'm curious. So how do you tell someone uh, how they should work on finding themselves? I get this question all the time, of course, and people want to know how to do it. I mean, I know
well,
it's
they're saying
philosophical, but still, how do you do it?
it's it's at the it's at the core of everything, right?
Yeah,
Especially with COVID, it's like there we are.
yeah,
You know,
that's so true, isn't it?
too much, so, and I turn my TV off, so it's all of a sudden here I am with myself all day. Luckily Veronica's been not traveling so much, so I get to see her a lot, which has been great. And I have a new man in my life, and that's been great. But I think what you have to do is, I listen to my students sing, and then I ask them, what does the song mean to them? What colors do they see, or what flavor of emotion is it for them, and what word stands out as the word that really gets them, and what does that mean? It's sort of like an actor would do.
Yeah,
Who are you in this song?
yeah,
What's happening to you in this song? And so when they get that, and of course I make them speak the lyrics
yes,
without the music, because get into the music, we start getting very technical about it. But you have to feel the words first. And so we do that, we act them out, and you feel the way the words move, and that dictates a certain phrasing, which is almost always different from the original phrasing.
yeah,
If you really do it, sing conversationally. So, instead of singing, the very thought of you, you might, very thought of you, you just change
yeah,
it depending on how you would feel it.
yeah,
But I just encourage them, when I feel it's tight or contrived, I kind of call them out on it in a gentle way, and say, how did that feel in your throat? And usually if it's tight emotionally, it's tight physically, and the opposite is true. When they relax physically, the song just like comes out of them, and they go, oh, what was that?
yeah,
That sounded, who did that? That's
yeah.
what you did when you didn't control it or think about it or try too hard or contrive it. So I think I try to break them from those habits of course they have to make mistakes and be fine about that,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
mistakes are beautiful.
yeah. What's interesting, I always found interesting was sometimes if you compliment your student, like they have one of those moments, like, ooh, that sounded good. And you say, wow, yes, that's great. And then they're like, what? That's great. Yeah. I, that's such an interesting thing to me that they possibly can freak out from being complimented, you know. And yeah, it's the mind is a really interesting thing, and that's why I think it's so valuable to learn an instrument or to learn the voice, or because there's an action that comes out of you that you have to direct and make happen and be creative in it. And it's, I mean, what, boy, it's really very valuable in life, right?
I don't know that they're scared to be criticized. I think they didn't know how good it, when you're really singing great, you don't really feel it, do you? I mean, I've had experiences when I really didn't think anything was happening. Or even I thought it was bad and it was great. So I don't think, as you say, the mind is powerful. I think the mind is very dangerous because the brain is always trying to go, wrong, wrong. Oh, you did that wrong. You're on a mistake. Watch out for this part. So I think when I have that moment of freedom where they just say it and I go, wow, they go, oh, I did? Was that good? That means that they were in the moment. And so my saying that to them helps them to claim that, to say, okay, I felt, their muscles kind of listened, there's kind of a memory
Well,
that goes on.
that's actually a subtle different thing than what I was talking about. I'm actually talking about when the student actually closes down because you compliment them. They actually are coming from whatever place they're coming from, and they maybe haven't experienced freedom and a coolness, right? But that's actually they're a little bit different. Yeah.
So you just would say, well, how does that feel to you?
Right. Well, it's hard to, yeah, it's hard to, Anyway, I mean, I love complimenting people, and I love, of course, we love to give a win to people, right? And to acknowledge them and to, kind of give them a, hey, yeah, that's it. Continue, do it again, and yeah, of course, that's what we do.
I said to one of my students, how would I feel? She goes, well, I didn't feel anything. I said, well, would it be okay if it was easy? And she said, no, no, no. They want it to be like painful, especially my theater students. They want to feel everything. I said, no, you do not want to feel everything. You're a singer. So when they do it really well, I make them do this.
That was easy.
Oh, I've always wondered what pushing that would do. Oh, hold on one second.
Get them to talk among themselves because I absolutely need you for about 2 minutes at the most.
Okay. My kitchen is getting done right now. So I'm going to, let's play something so I can go do something that's very necessary.
Can Carl and I play a song? Can we play something live?
Yes. And I will be back hopefully in 1 minute. Is that okay?
Carl. I'm calling on my better half.
I'm going to let you take over for a minute, okay?
Have fun.
Okay.
Meet again. So, everybody, this is Carl Kimmel, wonderful bass player, and we're going to play Lullaby of the Leaves. You won't be able to see him because he's over there. So, and I'm going to attempt to play the piano, which is what I had to sort of remember how to do after Hod passed. Okay. You got it in tune, that big mom over there? Okay. This is a song I recorded called Lullaby of the Leaves. Cradle me where southern skies can watch me with a million eyes. Sing me to sleep, lullaby of the leaves. Whoa, whoa. Cover me with heaven's blue and let me dream a dream or two. Sing me to sleep, lullaby of the leaves. I'm singing along with the breeze. I'm hearing a song through the trees. Ooh, a pine melody caressing the shore, familiar to me, I've heard it before. Well, don't I feel it in my soul? And don't I know that I've reached my goal? Sing me to sleep, la 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 the leaves. Cradle me where southern skies can watch me with a million eyes. Oh, sing me to sleep, la 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 la. Cover me with heaven's blue and let me dream a dream or two. Sing me to sleep, la 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 by the leaves. You got it, Carl. I'm singing along with the breeze. I'm hearing a song through the trees. A pine melody caressing the shore, familiar to me. I've heard it all before. Well, don't I feel it Sing me to sleep, lullaby of the leaves, lullaby of the leaves, la 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 lullaby, la 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 lullaby of birdland, la 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 lullaby of birdland, la 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 lullaby of the leaves, lullaby of the All right, thank you, Carl.
You're very welcome.
Uh-oh, where's that host? She's fixing her kitchen. All right, well, we'll do Autumn Leaves until she comes. Hope everybody's doing good out there. I could show pictures, but I'd rather sing. Huh? Want to do Autumn Leaves?
What do you want to do?
Autumn Leaves?
Sure.
Okay, this is the last time for Autumn Leaves. Then we're going to either think Savannah Southern or
With winter.
Winter. Oh, okay. It won't be.
Sleigh bells ring.
No. But I miss you most of all, my darling, when autumn leaves start to fall.
We're in C minor.
The falling leaves drift by my window, the autumn leaves are red and gold. I see her lips and I see the summer kisses and that sunburned hand that I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I'll hear the winter song. Oh, but I miss you most of all, my darling, when those autumn leaves start to
Woohoo!
Oh, come on.
Yay!
All right. Everything
You were playing piano pretty good there.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm impressed.
I just have been playing for so long. I'm playing bass in my left hand, and now I have a bass man, so I have to figure out what to do with my left hand. So all of us.
I know that feeling. Because I play very mediocre piano, but of course I usually play with no bass player. So if I do play with somebody, it's like, oh. Hey,
Blowing. Kat, I gotta tell you something about blowing that was so bizarre because I don't know enough theory to really blow solos. But what I would do was I would go like this. When I sing it, my fingers know where to go.
That's amazing. That's kind of
weird.
Yeah, that's kind of high level.
Well, I played a lot of classical piano, so they they get it.
Kind of remember, yeah. Wow, that's pretty. That's wonderful.
All those lessons paid off, I guess, somewhere along the line.
I had a question here that. Joyce Glasgow. She said, it sounds like you did read music and play piano even though you didn't study music formally. Do you think it would have all come together as a vocalist if you did not already read music or play an instrument?
Oh, I did study music formally, just not in college. I studied classical piano from age 4 till age 14, and I studied at Juilliard. So I could play, I could actually sight read Chopin waltzes because I'd trick my teacher and he'd go, "Did you really practice? Or are you sight reading that?" And I could actually, I finally gave it. So I had a lot of that and I had a lot of violin, which is fantastic ear training. So I had lots of music background. I went to music camps and things. When it came to college, I went to, economics and business school. But to answer your question, Joyce, I make every student of mine learn to play the piano in their right hand. It takes 15 minutes to learn to read a note and play it in your hand. It's not hard. Playing Chopin is hard, but just, plunking out the melody and playing it. And I'll tell you why. When a student sings the wrong note, like you can sing with the record 5,000 times and still get it wrong when you're all by yourself with a piano player doing that, right? Because there's no melody and the singer isn't with you. So if I make the singer play the melody, they'll play the note they're going to, the wrong note. Their finger will actually go to the wrong note. And then they say, oh, no, it's this one. And the light bulb goes, oh, it's this distance, not that distance. So it makes it very physical and real and actually corrects the, So I think it helps so much. That's all you need to be able to do. And guitar is okay, but it's not laid out like the piano. The piano is just there. So I guess that helps. Yeah, so I guess the answer is it really helps. If I wrote another book, which I don't think I'm going to, it would be a book called Do I Really Need to Know That?
I like that.
Do I really need to know that? Oh, harmony or arrangements or what the intro and the ending is, or what the AABA and the form is, or whether you want it rubato, whether you want it blah blah blah. And I say, well, no, you don't need to know it. And if you don't mind train wrecks, in front of people, or you instrumentalists going, oh, good singers, So it's just a way that we learn to communicate what we want to do. Most singers know what they want in their head, but just to put it out in lingo and in, it just makes it clearer.
Yeah.
So,
Did you say you're moving?
What we're doing is we're being very impulsive, and we're going to Savannah because we had this amazing experience at the Jazz Festival last month. And there's a lot of music down there, and we made a lot of friends, and I have a place to stay. And since it's going to be freezing and no gigs for 2 months in Virginia, between the 2 semesters, we're going to go down there and just kind of make, set up tent for a little while and see what happens. And, you never know. It could happen that we might like it enough to go at least half a year, or Carl's already got himself a big band gig, and we have a New Year's Eve gig.
Oh,
I don't even live.
God. You have
the signals. Go where the signals are green. The signal is red light.
That kind of makes me feel good. It makes me feel hopeful. It's like, oh, it's good news, right? It's nice.
Willing to do something different. Just set up. You have to be willing to change courses. I think if you stick with the thing you've always done, which is all, in jazz we don't do that anyway. So if you're a real jazz person, you don't even have a course. We have a temporary course of action, and then we change it. People who are used to routine and are used to the same thing, they're in big trouble in this world.
I totally agree with you. I talk about, there's one person I know who is very, it's funny, they're not that stuck, but their perspective is half very free and half kind of very conservative. And when they get into that conservative mode, I sometimes will talk to them and talk about improvisation, you improvise every day anyway. You wake up and it's a different day and it's raining and you thought it wasn't going to be raining. I mean, it's all improvisation. So of course it's just like a mistake in jazz. It's what you do with it. It's not the thing itself. It's, oh, here's something. Woo!
And there's a great affirmation that I have to remind myself of. It's like, I'm just not that damn smart. That I could figure it all out and make the plan and stick to it changes. It changes. But you have to be willing to really do the consciousness work. So that when the big sign says, turn right now, you do it, and you don't say, no, I don't want to leave my home. I've been here 50 years. But it's like, no, over there is a future, and I have 2 people I know that are making major changes and just leaving everything, they had and doing something kind of not blindly, but by their feeling, It's scary, but I did that with business. I left business at the top of my career. People thought I was out of my mind. You know, you're going to be a what? A jazz singer? What is that? You know?
Well, I'm just going to get a little airy fairy here for a minute. And people who go along this road will like this, and people who don't will, well, whatever. But you know, I've never really been into celebrating the solstices. However, I came across a bunch of information that this particular winter solstice is extremely monumental, and spiritual people and all the indigenous people on the planet have been preparing for this particular solstice, because it's the first time that Saturn and Jupiter have crossed so closely together in 200 years. And for the last 200 years, let's see, is it Saturn? I think Saturn was in the house of Capricorn, which was about business and very physical, material stuff, you know, making money, setting up businesses, you know, that kind of stuff. And now, December 21st, it's changing to Aquarius, which is... It's a total different thing. And so the talk that I've heard and read about talks about people becoming more aware of each other and change, and like personal change, and also helping each other, as in humans helping humans in groups, and less of big business and money and all that kind of stuff.
Me.
Yeah.
Me generation.
Yeah.
Generation is the me generation, because her generation was the we generation of World War II, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she did sacrifice a lot. Maybe she sacrificed some of the me for the we.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So,
hold on one sec. Hold that thought.
So
hold it down.
put reducers on all of them.
Okay.
Big wide ones.
Great.
So it looks smoother.
Yes.
And I blamed you for noticing the pattern on the floor.
Okay. Oh, the last minute, you know, our kitchen is, I think we started in July, I think. And so I've had 70% of my kitchen in the living room, and then scattered throughout the house. But the microwave and the refrigerator and the coffee maker are all in the living room. And then, you know, we've been washing dishes in the bathroom. What?
You had something to do during COVID.
So true.
You know,
For another 2 months, after it's done, for another 2 months, we'll have something to do as we put the kitchen back. But it's really fun.
You know, so yeah, that's good. It sounds like it's almost done. That's good.
Yeah, and along with these lines that we're talking about, before, the kitchen style was kind of cozy, kind of country-ish, like, you know. Now it's real open, really open. So it's kind of goes along, I think. Really, it's very interesting to me, you know.
Well, I think there's probably no one that doesn't feel how much change is happening. I mean, we're in change. We're in change zone for the last, 4 or 5 years of this whole, the things we've been asked to think about and confront, and we've been put against each other and had to work that out. And we've been thinking about our country and our feelings. And now we have our families and what's important and how to survive, and our children in schools. I mean, everything has been thrown at us, and just health and staying healthy. And I hope that we realize how much we need each other in terms of support. And then when we can be together, we're really going to hug a lot.
We are going to have so much fun when we finally get together. Oh my God.
I
want to ask.
It's very hard.
Oh, I'm sorry. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you that this time is, I'm glad I'm glad something's going to shift. That's all I can say.
Yeah. A major shift. Also, that shift, just an extra little thing, is about revitalizing Mother Earth, which I'm really happy to know because I've really felt so pained about the environment and ecology, you know, and so I felt really good to read that, you know.
Just had to take care of that series Mars, which was interesting because it was done by National Geographic, but it was like an entertainment series, and they half of it is like reality about the Arctic and the exploitation of resources that we're doing now, and then half of it's about what happens when we go to Mars and we start doing that there too. It's I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, you know. But anyway,
Cool.
I hope.
I want to ask you something. So, as a singer, as a professional singer who's sung a lot before, and me too. And so, you know, I have gigs, various gigs now here and there. And I have a gig coming up. And for those of you who watch me or whatever, it's at the LA Athletics Club, which for years I've sung there on Thursday nights. My friend created Chaz there. And now he's going into an online production, which is really fun. And so the 10th, I'm going to sing with several brilliant musicians. Otmaro Ruiz on piano, who's just one of the most brilliant musicians I know, and Carrie Frank on B3, and a drummer, Aaron Seferty. And so I'm just gonna have the best time. I've sung with the combination of Otmaro and Carrie before, and it was one of my most favorite gigs because it swung and it also was very adventurous. I was in heaven. So anyway, but my question is, when you're doing these gigs, sorry?
I wish I could be there. Is it virtual or is it live?
It's virtual.
Oh, I can see it then. Good.
Yeah. So my question is, what when you're doing these gigs or when you have a gig coming up, what is your desire? Let me see. I don't know how to put this into words yet. I just thought of this question with you because you and I are, you know, both professionals and we've sung before and now we're singing again. What is your urge and desire to sing as far as repertoire and feeling, you know, with the band, you know, like tempos and grooves? And do you look at the gig and you think, okay, especially because of this whole COVID thing, do you have these particular feelings that you want to portray or put into motion with your upcoming gigs?
Yeah, I'm kind of a weird singer. I don't have like a small repertoire. I have this big repertoire, and every time I do a gig, I just pick some songs and do them. I don't have a lot of sculpted arrangements and things like that. Because I don't get to rehearse a lot of times with the band. Yeah. So if I go to a gig, I'm going to try to sing songs that are relevant to the experience of the place, the people, how I feel, you know. And so when COVID hit, I did some virtual things they're on the internet on YouTube. We did Prescription for the Blues series with Matt Baker from New York. And each week we did 8 weeks of different songs, just one song, and picked songs that were relevant to the experience that we were having, how to get through the blues, you know, how to escape. You know, I think we did The Panic Is On, which is a Fats Waller tune, and I changed the lyrics about, you know, COVID, and Veronica uses that now, so it's fun. But it was so sad, and sometimes I want to sing the lonely songs, but I don't know, I'm going to do a goofy show pretty soon. I want to do, Carl is, you know, he's new in my life, and we're both the same age, and he knows all these, you know, cartoons and old, you know, 60s and 70s goofy songs, you know. So I thought it would be fun to do a whole show of goofy songs, you know, just for fun, just for, you know, don't sleep in the subway, darling, don't sleep in the you know, dumb Petula Clark, and, you know, the boots are made for walking, things like that. Jazz, no, they're not jazz. You know, sometimes I'll do a modern jazz thing, and I'll do more Bill Evans and Wayne Shorter and types of things. Other time, but the lyrics to some of those just aren't that strong. So
Yeah.
that's where I get with some of the modern jazz tunes. I'll do a bebop show. I do a lot with the early music of 20s and 30s because I sang with Riverwalk so much. So the Jim
Oh,
Cullen band that can really do stride and trad music. I love singing that stuff. It's wonderful. And Veronica sings with Vince Giordano, and she
a lot of that. What did you do at the APAP? You did a tribute, but it was that style, right?
I think I did the Billie Holiday medley, which is all from the early 30s, because I did in tribute to her is all the early 30s music that she did. So yeah, What a Little Moonlight Will Do and things like that. But
Yeah.
I just each recording I made has a different theme depending on who I was playing with at the time. Like when I met Bobby Roach, who's an amazing French horn player, we did an album where the French horn and the voice intermingled, and we did duo lines and bop things. And so each one is different. When I sang the Escapade record, I had Bob Callahan on piano instead of Hod, and I had Joe LaBarbera on drums. I mean, we had just like an amazing group that was perhaps a step away from the bebop swing thing that Hod was in. So anyway, each album's different, and each gig is different. And I don't think I ever do the same set twice. I really should.
What is your next? What's your next live gig?
Um, let's see. I'm going to Savannah. I think it's in December in Savannah, and I don't know because we're traveling, and
We definitely have New Year's.
we're doing New Year's at the Marriott down in Savannah. That may
I
be the
love
next one.
that. New Year's, wow! And so that's a live gig? I mean, for people coming to come.
Yeah. So we'll be outside, and
Yeah.
it's warm down there. I canceled a couple things in December to go down there, so there's just not anything happening here. I
Yeah.
did a concert 2 days ago with Matt Baker because he was visiting. But those are there's so many of them. I think the world is just flooded with these, and I don't know. We need the real ones again. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll come up with something. I'll come up with some idea. But for example, I did a concert at the Richmond Museum of Fine Arts a couple weeks ago. 500-seat theater, beautiful theater, fantastic band, 2 cameras, not a person in the audience. And I thought it was the worst thing I've ever done. I felt horrible. I felt drained every minute because I was singing to these cameras. I felt like nothing was going right. I was so disoriented.
Yeah.
Listen to it. It's fantastic. So it just shows you without an audience to say, yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Just, you don't yourself, but it made me work harder, I can tell you. I really
Yeah.
put my voice in. It's really not fun. I mean,
Yeah.
virtuals, I love talking with, I love this. Singing across a screen, or even the teaching is okay. I teach a lot over it, but I work harder to do it, to get
Yeah.
my energy through the technology. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I understand that so much. And I have a little thing that I use teaching. And I actually think I think it can apply to that experience, which is I talk about the 3 universes, which, so the first universe is for you to be aware of and in control of, and yourself, your own ability. You know the song, the timing, your voice is working. It's all, that's the first universe. The second universe is that and the musicians. That's it. Just you and the musicians. So you're all in this universe together where, of course, everything can happen, right? There's no mistakes, right? Everything is possibilities. And, the third universe is that and the audience. So, how, like a lot of younger singers, or not younger necessarily, but less experienced singers might go to the third universe first, trying desperately to share with the audience, and they've neglected the first universe, so it's, so I think, because I actually, where that idea came from was my own experiences, and in times maybe when I felt nervous for whatever reason, I was uncomfortable, and I would kind of locate myself, and then locate the musicians, and that would secure me. And the relationship with the audience is changing. I mean, it depends on the audience. Like there, you had no audience, and so that's different than 5 people in the audience. I mean, there's all these different things, but I like to believe, even still, that in situations that I could be uncomfortable in, that I always come back to myself and the musicians first. And then, but I think in that situation and I'll find out, I guess, on December 10th, because I'll be in your position as well. Just the only people in the room will be the technical people. So, yeah, so I'll find out if that really does work,
I think you call on what you needed. I called on what I needed to do the gig, even though I wasn't getting it back. But it's interesting, to teach singing. You don't teach, sing this note this way. You teach connecting with yourself, with your breath, body, with the lyric, with the meaning, and then you release it. And you see singers who are trying to make it happen and push it out there and get this result. They're result oriented rather than process oriented. And by doing that, they've lost some of that self. So I agree with you 100%. You have to go in to go out, but I think that when I started, it was just me and the band, and I never cared about, I didn't want to look at the audience because maybe they didn't like me, whatever. Yeah. So I was always, my back was kind of turned, and I realized, it's all about that. It's all about me and the band is here, but my face is to the audience. And I notice that now when I see a singer or an instrumentalist turn away from the audience, it's really bad. It's like a drop. It drops me. I don't want their energy to disconnect, at all. And so I'm trying to just expand my, what would you call it? Your diameter.
Yeah,
your so that instead of it being, when I started singing, I had my eyes closed. I said, next I'm going to sing Cole Porter's Night and Day. And I'd open my eyes and, they clap. I go, okay, thank you. Never mind. I'm so nervous. Then it's like me and the band, and I'm so hip and so cool. And then I realize I'm not even paying attention to the audience. And it's not because I have to have applause. It's because they're giving me love, and I have to be humble enough to accept it. There's a humility in that. There's like, thank you, Like when someone says, oh, you look beautiful today, I say, oh, no, I don't. No.
Yeah.
You should say, oh, you're very kind. Thank you. What a lovely thing to say,
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do that with singing, be more embracing of their response, because that's just not only polite, but that's the energy exchange that needs to happen to make it feel right. So I'm working on that, but it's a little bit of a challenge for me, but I'm working on it.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different careers that have that, actually. TV, a lot of TV people, like the news people, I'm sure they went through that. There's the camera has thousands and thousands of people watching, and so going through like what are you saying? How are you delivering it? Where are you located while you're talking? It's an interesting subject. Actually, I think now that I think about it, my first husband helped me. I was working at a place in LA called Simply Blues, which was on the top floor of a building that was catty-corner to Motown. And this lounge was really cool. I was working with a pianist, a black pianist, and just the two of us. And the people from Motown would come over after work and hang out and talk a lot. And then also I was getting some kind of, creepy vibes from people too, like, what's this white girl doing, with whatever, And I went home. I was totally exhausted after that gig. went home. My husband, Mexican American, who was used to thinking in spiritual terms. So he said, okay, here's what you do. And he told me to make an imaginary boundary around me and the pianist, and nothing could flow in, but I could flow out. And the next night was great. It was great. I was totally within, me and Lewis were just having a great time, and people started listening more. And it was just, so I think part of my 3 universe idea came from that. But I do love to have the openness from the audience, but that wasn't the audience to really have it with, because they weren't there to really listen,
It's very tricky. You have to be there first and then put it out there, but not lose that connection while you're doing that.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you put it out there and like, oh, that guy left. He went to the bathroom. Then you're totally removed from the audience. So I mean from the bandstand. So it's a tricky thing, but I wouldn't want to be blocked in either way. And I wouldn't want to be on the bandstand or stuck in the audience. I would like to feel, and in a great concert that happens. In great concerts, you feel this, of like, you and the band and the audience, and it comes back to you and the band, and it goes back to, and it goes higher and higher and higher.
Yeah. And this stuff it's not material world stuff. And it's interesting to talk about or to help somebody realize it, because it's not material world stuff. It's not this, it's.
You already know it. Really already. If we're in tune with our feelings and ourselves, and we already know that, we can, we respond to each other already. That's something we're just maybe out of touch with, but we do.
Yeah.
I mean, when I do back and forth with somebody, I don't know what they're saying, and I have to get them on the phone and hear their voice, and okay, I get it. It's just, so anyway, communication, communication and sharing feelings, inspiring each other. The audience is can be very inspiring. So.
Very. By the way, how do people find the date of the workshop that you're going to do for Jazz Voice?
It's on their site. Maybe it's on my site
on your site.
It's January 17th. It's not the workshop. It's a master class. So I don't. You might have to apply, or I don't know. They take a few people, but I'll do some more of them. It was very successful, the forward motion one I did, and I think the people who are members can access that workshop. So
so those of you who aren't sure what we're talking about, a singer named Alexis Cole created this amazing site called jazzvoice.com, and she has about around 15 high-level singers who are teachers. And even though I'm not in the teacher group, I'm going to be doing a workshop on the 13th. Yeah, the 13th, which is a Sunday at night at 6:00. And you're going to laugh at what she pushed me into doing this. How to create community. So you could teach that class too. But, getting out there and getting creative and pulling your resources together. And like you said, you can create anything, right? Get an idea, create it, and make it happen. So, so that'll be my class. But jazzvoice.com, it's really amazing. I mean, all kinds of great singers are giving classes. And and the price is so reasonable to be a member and to have access to everything. It's really, really reasonable.
Can I share something from?
I was going to ask you to do some sharing again.
That's not what I wanted. That's okay. Let me find it. That's something I'm sure. Pulsing quarter notes. Oh my gosh, where's the other? Can you see that? My jellyfish?
That is cool.
I love the jellyfish. That's all about propulsion.
That's a great idea. I love that idea, Steph.
I'm looking for something else, but wherever it's on my laptop somewhere. Oh, jeez. And this is from the first book about the jazz eighth note. Here it is. This is what I want. Those are my CDs.
Oh, you have to share the screen again.
Oopsie, where is it? Share the screen. Oopsie, where's the share the screen? Okay, let's see. Oh, I think I'm really screwed up now. I think I'm off Zoom.
It should
There
be
I am.
on your, I think it should be on Zoom, but there you go.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
all right. Can you see that?
Yes.
Those are my 3 books. The first one's the jazz one on it's a little bit about scatting and improvisation, but mostly about rhythm, how to swing. Second, and it's got a CD or files with it. And the next one's the lesson book, which has 2 full CDs worth of exercises on voice lessons. And then that's the book on, and then those are all my CDs. I realize I have 6 different record companies.
Oh. You have
A
6
lot of these
different record companies. Is that what you said?
The SOP did that one with Phil Woods and that with Bobby Roach. That's the June Christie one. They did this one, which is tribute to 20 different singers. Then Jazzmania did that. They're out of business, but that got reprinted by Inner City. Inner City. This is Spice of Life in Japan. That's Chase. That's also, these are like sing-alongs. These 3. This one is by Billie Holiday, which also is Irv Kratka's thing. Yeah, yeah. So I think I'm going to stop for a while. I still got thousands of those in my basement.
Yes, we do. The only reason I have not thrown out my CDs is because I'm still going to Japan, and they actually buy CDs in Japan. What about some pictures? Are you going to show us a few pictures?
What I really wanted to do, if I can get down there, I don't know how to get down there. Let me see. Come on. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Well, we have wonderful experiences singing. I did a gig with Clark Terry in Columbia, South Carolina. And the story behind it, we did Ooshooby Dooby together for public television. And the story behind it was that the good old boys who were running the show were trying to cut me out of my second set. So my fans started gossiping about it. And one guy who was one of the big funders went to the producer and said, "You take that little girl off the set and I'm taking my money off this festival." So I ended up in the finale with Clark Terry. But, it was funny.
Wow.
Funny how life goes. What can I tell you? But we were singing. That's Dute Backen. Yeah, good stuff. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I told you I did this stuff with them. This is kind of showing off stuff, but there's great experiences. I did 10 shows for Riverwalk with Jim Cullum's band, and one of them was with Dick Hyman. It's the only time I've ever used a band, I think. I don't know why. But anyway, we did Hoagie Carmichael and somebody else, Walter Donaldson. And when we did Hoagie Carmichael, I said, "Oh, no, not Hoagie Carmichael. That means I have to sing Stardust and Skylark," which I think so perfect and beautiful and, hard to do very well. And so I told Dick, the bridge of Skylark, I'm going to do the way it's written, that goes, da da dee da 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 dee 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 da dee,
Oh, right.
which is the real one.
Right.
So I told him that, and of course he didn't think I really knew what I was talking about, and he played the other changes. But it was okay. At least I was right about it.
So wait a minute.
Here's a
Is it ba-da-da-da? Is that the note actually? Do-do-do-ba-da. I don't think I've really known that. Although I've heard it, I'm sure.
Like all of me has one of the best notes on the planet that nobody plays. You took the part that once was my heart, so why not take all of me? It's the flat 5, and that's the original note. Everybody,
Yeah.
why not? Everyone plays that, but it's why not? It's a great note. It's a really painful
Yeah.
note. Check it out. Don't believe me. Can you see this one of Bob and Janet and me?
Yeah, how beautiful. That is a
And in Lawson, and
beautiful picture.
we
Wow.
had a beautiful little group together. That was fun. I can't find my picture of me with Jon Hendricks, but it's around somewhere. Oh, it's what? Yep. Anyway, I've had a lot of great experiences. We took John and Judith came down to Virginia. John came down to do a concert, and funny, he had not performed in the South because with Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross, they were not allowed to perform in the South.
Oh.
It was a mix. So 1983 was the first time I think he'd performed in the South, maybe forever. I don't know. But anyway, brought him to that's my mother on the left, and we brought them to our farm, and my father said, "Hello, Miss Hendricks. So, would you like to know about the University of Virginia?" And John said, "Thank you, Sam." And John was a perfect gentleman. My father was very impressed with him because he could do the New York Times crossword puzzle in pen, and he did it like in an. And my parents were like, "Oh my gosh, this guy is brilliant." That was definitely in scat singing. But so John said, "Sam, what should I know about the University of Virginia?" He goes, "Well, you must mention Ralph Sampson, our best basketball player, and you must mention Thomas Jefferson." So John said, "Yes, very good idea." So he gets to the concert, and Jon Hendricks goes, "Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson. I'm related to Thomas Jefferson." And the audience just like, he broke the racial tension like that. I'm related to Thomas Jefferson, not on the paternal side, not on the maternal side, but on the impulsive side. Oh my God. He was so great. Anyway, the new book about John out now. That's wonderful. I want to get the last picture. Oh, wait a minute. I just want to get... Okay, I'm going to stop doing this. I haven't looked at these in so long. We were lucky to be on Moody's 80th birthday cruise. Oh. And so arrogant. I said, "Oh, they're going to ask me to do that." "Oh, baby, please." They're going to ask me to do that. I don't want to do that. So I didn't do it, which is so stupid, And guess what? I did the song, and Moody did it. He said, "Together," because he knew I wasn't going to do it, so he did it. He was amazing.
He's so brilliant. God.
We took Sheila. Sheila came down and did a concert, and she had recorded with Hod, and that's my father on the right. And Sheila said, "When I scat sing, cows sing back to me." So I said, "Okay, Sheila, let's go out. We're going to the pasture to sing to the cows." So she gets out there. She's like, "Well, she's doing her scat singing. The cows having nothing to do with it. And she goes, "I don't understand this. Cows always respond." And my father said, "Well, these are Charolais cattle. They're French." And she goes, "Oh, French cattle. That's different." She's wonderful. She's my favorite person. So anyway. Enough of that. Okay, I got that out of my system. Thank you for indulging me.
That's so cool. Well, believe it or not, we have about 5 more minutes. See, you thought for 2 hours you couldn't really have a lot to say.
Well, I didn't know whether it would be interesting or not to people.
I'm sure. Sure. Yeah, I'm sure it's interesting. I've been interested in all the people who have been, watching us, have been making comments, and I'm just looking to see. Oh, Mike Campbell says hi.
Hi, Mike. I miss you.
Michael, Gary and I were talking about you last night. I'm going to call you because I miss you too. I love you. Roland's impressed that you sang with Bob Duro.
Uncle Bob. I mean, we lived in the Poconos, so we were very close friends. And we even recorded a funny album called... what is it called? This is a recording, and every track on the recording is some inane bit of like the weather report, the instructions on your Medicare card, the instructions on the throw-up bag in the airplane, cleaning slip, and he wrote melodies to go with these stupid everyday things. That is so funny. So I sang backup on that one. He was brilliant. We miss him so much.
Yeah.
He would come to every time I gigged at the Delaware Water Gap Jazz Festival or at the Deerhead Inn, because we lived there, nearby. He came to everything. He was wonderful. He was wonderful to Veronica. He was just a fabulous mentor for her.
I hung out with him once with a pianist named Dave Mackay. He was good friends with him, and Dave Mackay passed away a few months ago, actually. And but that was really fun. The two of them were very funny together. Similar humors or something. I don't know. It was pretty funny. I guess they had good history, Well,
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I think Hod O'Brien, my late husband, and Bob were in New York at the same time during the loft scene in the 50s, late
Yeah.
50s, early
Uh-huh.
60s.
Yeah.
A lot of the same people.
By the way, did I tell you that Jay Clayton was on and she said hello?
She was my teacher. She got me out of my eighth notes. Thank you, Jay.
Oh, that's cool.
The old eighth note thing, and she got me to, you know, be freer. And I
Yeah.
love Jay.
I love Jay too. Well, is there anything that you would like to tell people before we get off? Anything at all?
Well, just keep listening. As Michael James was Duke Ellington's nephew. When I started singing, he told me, listen to the foundation people. Make sure you listen to foundation people. If you like modern, people are singing today, contemporary singers, that's fine. Listen to horns. Listen to, Big Spiderbeck and Louis Armstrong and Coleman Hawkins, and listen to the foundation people. So I thought that was very good advice. And I'm certainly here for you guys. Anybody wanted to take some lessons or talk to me or whatever, just contact me on my website. And I wish you all lots of swinging moments in jazz, and hope that you'll find jazz as a way to express yourself and communicate. And thank you, Cathy, so much for including me in your love circle.
Thank you, Steph. It was really fun hanging out and talking actually for a while. We probably haven't talked this long for a good while, so this is really nice. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to talk about like who's coming. If you want to hang out for a minute, you can. And tomorrow, actually, I'm really looking forward to speaking with a pianist named Benjamin Tobkin. And he is Brazilian, and he's an older piano player who's been around for a long time and played with incredible people. And he's an incredible player. So I've never actually met him face to face. I found him online and then investigated him, and I was very excited when he responded to me. So that's tomorrow. And, and next week we have Rick Helser, a great pianist. And actually, you probably know Eilert Rose Gottlieb. Does that name sound? She's friends with Jay as well, probably a student of hers. But she's a very interesting singer, very strong business person. You'll have to check her out. Eilert, Aye, Eilert Rose Gottlieb. And then also Rick Baptiste, who's a great trumpet player who's been on many, 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 many recordings. And I also wanted to say a few shameless plugs. Last week, I came out with a single with a video of Sermonette.
Oh, yay!
Yeah. I should send you a link because I know you sang Sermonette about 1 million times.
I love it.
Yeah. And you guys can all see all this information on my site. But December 10th, Thursday, I'm going to be online from 7 to 9 Pacific time. And that's at the LA Athletics Club with Otmar Ruiz and Carrie Frank and Aaron Seferty. December 13th, I will be on jazzvoice.com giving a class. And also I have a scat workshop on Saturday, December 19th from 11 to 1:30 in the morning. In the afternoon. All right. See, did you hear that, Steph?
I wrote it down.
To 1:30 in the morning.
No.
No, I was kidding. 11 in the morning to 1:30 in the afternoon is the scat workshop. So on that note, everybody take good care. We just entered lockdown, by the way, this week. So, I think people are still going out. Huh?
You're in the kitchen now.
Perfect, right? So, but anyway, take care, everybody. And Steph, when are you going to go to Savannah?
Thursday.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, well, I'm thinking
I
really.
can sing Hannah, the vamp of Savannah, the meanest gal in town.
I'm sure you're going to sing that a lot. All right. Have a great night. Thank you for being on. I really appreciate it. Mwah. Bye. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.